So now we're here to, as you know, we're here to honor a special friend, not only with the public schools, but also to us, a real champion to us in the human services community. And I think one of the things we see here today is, people always, sometimes, unfortunately, you read about public service and how people really criticize public service and where taxes are going. Well, here's an example of where it's working, right? We're seeing our public schools working, which is public service, working with a public service that we're providing in human services, and we're all led by a public official, an elected official together. And this is what really makes our community strong. It's what it's about. It's always local, as Tip O'Neill once said. And no one knows that better than the person that we're proud to bring up today. Speaker DeLeo is no stranger to anybody in this room. We know that at one point, probably not too long ago, he was probably sitting in a chair similar to this, as he's born and raised and a son of Winthrop. So we're so glad that you're here at this particular point. For us in human services, he's been a real champion in helping to make that connection, not only for Winthrop, but for the other 350 cities and towns in the Commonwealth who have issues, concerns, and needs that need to be helped. And it's important to have people in elected office who hear what's going on in their communities and then can take that into action when they're crafting a budget. Sometimes we look at budgets and people talk about budgets as if they're just numbers or arithmetic. The fact of the matter is there's a story, there's a life behind every one of those numbers, and he knows that as good as anyone does. So we're really pleased here at the Providers Council, along with North Suffolk Mental Health, to present him with an award of recognition. And I'd like to ask Jackie Moore if she would join me and the speaker as we present him with this plaque in honor of his work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. I had some prepared comments today, but I'm going to throw those out the window because of the comments, I think, which were made earlier. Ricky, Alex, and Michael, you're very special young people, and I thank you for your very kind words. By the way, Ricky, thank you for applauding first before everyone else. All of you are a great example of why I feel good about the job that I do, and I want you to know that I'm going to be there for you as long as I'm speaker or representative or whatever I may be. So, thank you for your tremendous words, Michael. We know when you talk about the heroes, and I know I've been praised and whatnot, but the real hero really isn't me. It's these folks. It's the people like Michael Weeks. It's the people like Jackie Moore and a wonderful staff who I've had the honor of knowing for a number of years on a number of issues. It's the people like, the principal of the school, and John Macero, who I first got to meet when my daughter was at a school for performing arts. I want you to know she performs every day now, by the way. She does it. You and Trudy did a great job, John. You're doing a great job as superintendent. I also want to mention one other lady who was here, and she is the advocate, the lobbyist, whatever the proper terminology is. She's the person who comes into my office and advocates for programs such as this. And I'd have to say she's one of the best that I've ever seen in Massachusetts. She's the best because she does it with her heart, she does it with her soul, she does it because she believes in it, and she's sort of the person in the background here, Lisa Simonetti. Thank you. When you get to be, speaker, it's one of the greatest honors that can be bestowed upon anyone. When you look at the fact and you see on the wall and you see all those pictures of folks a long time ago, different haircuts, different facial whatnot. When you think you're one of only 77 to ever have served as Speaker of the House, you realize what a great job it is and what a great opportunity it is to help people. And it also gives me the opportunity to travel, obviously throughout the state and sometimes throughout the country to talk about Massachusetts and what's going on here. But I'd have to say, and I have received some other awards in terms of some of the other things that we have done. But if anything hits me personally, it's days such as this. It's days such as this when I know that in my hometown that I've done something to help kids who grew up where I grew up. Maybe they didn't have the same opportunities, maybe they did, whatever it may be. But that I did something that I could help children in my hometown. And that's the most important thing that I can do. It's interesting to note, and I know you folks may say, oh, this may sound hokey and whatnot, but once a reporter, asked me about that. He said to me, Mr. Speaker, I think we had passed an economic development piece or did some transportation reform or ethics reform and some of the other things that we have done since I became Speaker. And he said, Mr. Speaker, you've done so much accomplishments in such a short period of time. I want to congratulate you that's one of the nicest things reporter said about me. I want to congratulate you for what you have done. I said, but what do you think is like the greatest thing you've ever done? I said, the greatest things that I do, I says, is when I help people back home. When I see a child who has autism, whose family is struggling, and I was able to get past an insurance bill to make sure that maybe that family has a better chance in terms of being able to deal with the financial insurance. And that mother comes into my office with her 2 kids to hug me and to thank me for what I have done. And it's days such as this where I feel the same way. When I get a picture from a kid from Revere, a disabled kid who said, thank you for not forgetting me, and thank you for what you do. That's what makes my job worthwhile. There are a whole lot of things, and I know a lot of people talk about, they talk about egos and everything else that goes along with politics. But I will tell you that this is what makes me function. And I will tell you that I think this is what makes the vast majority of people function. Because as I've told members who come in, when I become new members who come in who want to talk to me about the job and what it means and whatnot. And I says, depends upon what you do back home. Never forget where you come from, and never forget the folks back home, and you're going to be okay. You'll be a good state representative. And that's the lecture I give them. And they somewhat leave sort of disappointed, think I'm going to tell them someday they might meet the President of the United States or something. But I think at the end of the day, they'll come back 2 years later and say, you know what, Mr. Speaker, you were right. You were right in terms of what we have and what we need to do. These issues are so important, folks, and the issue of substance abuse is an issue which I've been talking about extensively in the last couple of weeks or so in particular. Just last week, I had the opportunity to receive recognition from folks in the substance abuse recovery up at the State House. What was wonderful about that day was the fact that we had so many folks who were in recovery that the fire department had to close off people entering into Gardner Auditorium because there were so many people there. And I talked about the fact that I understood the issue, and that as a result of my understanding of the issue, that, this year, we probably did more, despite the fiscal problems that we have in substance abuse, than we've ever done. We brought back some programs that were cut. We started some new legislation, hopefully to tackle this very, very difficult issue. But at the end, I stated that this was probably the most important issue that's affecting us as a Commonwealth and as a country. When you get to be chairman of Ways and Means and now a Speaker of the House, as I said, I travel around and I talk to people and I talk to state representatives extensively. And obviously the major issues I hear about is, whether it's local aid or education funding. But the issue very, very close there too is the issue of substance abuse, of what's going on. Okay, that's the other issue I hear about. And it hit home with me because of just this past summer, I attended 3 wakes in 3 weeks. 3 wakes in 3 weeks of young people, anywhere from 20 to 38, who had passed as a result of substance abuse. Are you listening to me? You too? All right. You too over there, all right? And all of the young people, by the way. People who lost their lives. I can remember also coming home one night, driving through the streets of coming home through Winthrop, and I saw an ambulance in front of a car, in front of a house, and I thought it was one of the senior members of the house that I had known. I immediately called them to make sure everything was okay. They said yes, everything was okay. It wasn't us. It was our 22-year-old girl in the first floor who passed because of substance abuse. These are the stories that I deal with as a speaker. Okay, these are the stories that I see every single day. There was a time, folks, when I helped more people try to get into programs than I did to try to help people get into college. I'd like you to think about that. As Speaker of the House, when people call on you to try to help, and by the way, I'm never going to try to stop to try to help people. I'm not sure if it's right or wrong anymore, the way people are trying to talk about it sometimes, but I'm never going to stop. And so that's why these issues are so important to me. To the young people, in addition to staying clean and staying on the right road, it's very important. Education is the other thing that I've learned extensively as I've traveled and talked to kids. No matter what your financial situation may be, no matter where you may live, whether you live in the richest town or city in Massachusetts or the poorest, the thing that gives you the equalizer is the fact that if you get a good education and you work hard, you can make it. There's no greater example, I'd say, than myself. I grew up in a three-family home with and I don't have any great stories in terms of, terrible things happening, but it was a three-family, middle-class, home. That's what it was. And I guess if you try to look in terms of what's going to happen in the future, if you have money, your chance is better, yeah, maybe. But each one of you, because of an education and staying straight and making right decisions, any one of you can be here where I am right now, some years. Just give you a couple more years and then you can go ahead. Okay, but just never forget that. You can live your dream. To the parents who are here, congratulations. Congratulations, all of you, for taking part and staying involved in your kids. That's so important. And I think the governor has talked about it. I think Mayor Menino has talked about it. I have found there's only so much that we can do as politicians. There's only so much people can do as counselors and advocacy groups, and these people spend hours and hours trying to do the right thing. But without the parents, it's very, very, difficult. To all of you who take part, I congratulate you for not only for being here today, but make sure that you spend time with your kids each and every day. And let me just tell you, again, whether I was a first-term state rep or whether I'm Speaker of the House, I'm going to be there for you. If you have issues, don't hesitate to call me personally. If I can be of assistance, I'm going to be there. To the young people, again, congratulations. You realize that now that program will always be funded. You're shameless. My God, you're shameless.
What did I do?
I can't wait to hear the next Jackie, you're not too far behind. Lisa, I'm not even going to talk to you. But again, this is a wonderful honor.
Bargain, Mr. Speaker.
This is a wonderful honor. Again, I think we've made some great progress. Congratulations to you all, and a sincere thank you for this great honor you've bestowed upon me today.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to do. I wanted to, first of all, we thank the speaker for those wonderful remarks. Let's give him a... We have it recorded about the program funding. You all heard that, right? So we just got to make sure that he stays in office, right? So we can make that happen. And then the other thing, just want you to know, because John Massaro talked to you about being a human service worker. Imagine if there wasn't funding for human service workers there that helped them he might not have made it to superintendent. So
you're really stretching now.
We got to really work on those salaries, don't we, John? Get them up there. So no, but thank him, because he really did something. He provided workers this year all across the state, and also here in Winthrop, with a salary increase and they haven't had a salary increase for over 5 years. He took the leadership in making that happen. So let's give him a round of applause. We know there's some future human service workers in the schools, so I'll let you know he's behind there.